Hello everybody and welcome to Andrew Discusses, the video series where I basically talk about some interesting things that I've come across or thought about. You know, oddities, weird stuff, anything really in general randomness. Who the hell cares anymore? I have not come up with a good intro for this video series. Seriously, I haven't, and if I did, it wasn't that great and I ended up changing my mind, but I digress. Anyway, with the current state of the situation going on as of this recording, come on, let's face facts here, people. We all know what I'm talking about, the COVID-19 pandemic. So, yeah, with that pretty much bombarding the world with closures, cancellations, I swear if I hear one more person complain that the seniors of the high schools of the U.S. didn't get to go to prom, I'm going to scream. I kind of feel sorry for a lot of the fans that were looking forward to the conventions this year. Now, I understand that there's a reason for not having them. I mean, let's face facts here, people. If I have to stay 6 feet away from everybody in the grocery store, you try controlling about a couple 100,000 people going into a convention center. That's not gonna happen. No way in hell are you going to control that many people. Better yet, you're not going to control that many angry and unruly teens. And, well, tweens and young adults, middle-aged adults, some elderly people. Yeah, it's never going to happen. However, if you listen to my recent podcast from May 9th, there's actually something kind of interesting, and I thought it would make a good discussion topic, because I kind of want to know what everybody thinks, and not everybody listens to my podcast anyway. I've learned that the hard way. Yeah, look, I'll admit I'm not the world's greatest when it comes to recording stuff. I mean, my highest rated video is a rant video on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. What does that tell you? I'm not the world's greatest voice of reason. For a damn good reason, too. But anyway, Funimation announced that they want to do an online convention. It's mostly to cover their ass and because they're looking at corporate greed, but I like the idea for what it stands for. Okay, not the whole corporate greed thing. Believe me, I've had my fill of that with that freaking Beast toy that I reviewed, that I ranted about. Not reviewed, that I ranted about, that Bolt Matrix reviewed. That was a third-party Transmetal Megatron that should have never seen the light of day. No, I'd rather have a third-party pterosaur that actually functioned well versus that. But I digress. Funimation wants to do an online convention, and I think this is a pretty cool idea. Mostly because the online world is pretty much the world we live in now. Beyond a shadow of a doubt. I mean, how many of you out there, honestly now, spend your day either on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, what have you? I mean, hell, if you're a teenager, the internet is basically your life. So why not have conventions instead of renting out this massively humongous hall that's going to cost a tremendous amount of money each and every time you want to go and rent it, having to deal with getting security and paying for them to stand around and eventually be the rent-a-cops that they are and actually do something. No offense, but I've had my fair share of security issues with people. I mean, no disrespect to the actual good security guards, but let's face it, I've had my run-ins with some horrible ones just sitting in the parking lot waiting to start work. Yeah, what does that tell you? But anyway, this interests me because it gives the opportunity for an online convention, which I actually think is a good idea. Instead of having it that you have to go to where the convention center is, spend the extra money on a plane ticket or bus fare, you can just sit on your couch in a beanbag chair at a freaking, at your school library or something, in your dorm room. You don't have to leave what you call home to go to the convention anymore. And I actually think this is a pretty cool idea. I mean, you could do like a 3D type of environment, sort of like Second Life or something like that, and literally just 100%, mind you, walk around a virtual convention that's literally designed to be the same convention. Now, I know somebody out there is going to go, but Andrew, how in the hell would this work? Well, besides the fact that we have VR technology now, which is pretty much available to 99% of the people out there. I mean, hell, when Five Below's even selling some VR headsets, I'm pretty sure you can get it cheap. Yeah, I'm almost damn well sure you can get it cheap at that point. I mean, no, actually, like, I can take it one step better. The Dollar Tree actually had some 3D VR stuff. So, yeah, you're definitely going cheaper here. But anyway, what this basically boils down to is you can use virtual reality to either have it there where you're sitting there, connected via either your smartphone, tablet, or even a laptop or desktop via Bluetooth or wireless connection, and you can sit there with your VR headset on like you're literally walking around the convention. And it's a virtual convention. It's completely and totally virtual. I mean, 100% 3D, all VR. And what they can have the vendors in that do is set up, like, here, give us a design of how your booth would be set up. Like, put a display up. We'll give you the dimensions that this is how big your thing would be. You set up a mock display in your shop or something, a small corner, which I guarantee you, for the amount of money that they could possibly get from this, the businesses would jump at this in a heartbeat. Because, in all honesty, they would jump at this in a heartbeat. Honestly, because you could get people from overseas would be interested in buying your stuff without having to leave their country to come to the convention center. They could sit at home. Hey, that's even better. Like, oh, look, I don't want to spend $75 for a bottle of water. No! I could just get up, go to my fridge, and get a bottle of water or a bottle of soda, and I don't have to leave my house. And I can still be at the convention. This would be really cool. But have like the vendors in that set up a mock display and then just integrate it into the VR world, basically. And this same concept could work not only for conventions, but you also have sporting events where you have, I mean, NASCAR did this whole, like, a couple races where it was all VR. And what's interesting about that, and why I would actually be more inclined for that versus getting it back to where we actually have them driving around a physical track, the VR actually makes it so that they have to win by skill. They're not winning by, oh, look, my sponsor paid more money for my engine overhaul this week, so we have more money. We're rich. We're going to have a better car than you. Whereas, oh, look, we're doing VR. Oh, shit. What does that mean? It means you got to win by skill and skill alone, damn it. I mean, I have no disrespect for NASCAR. Okay, let me rephrase that. I have a lot of disrespect for NASCAR. I watched it when I was younger. I thought it was interesting when I was younger. Now I'm older. And there's a ventriloquist, Jeff Dunham, I'm sure you've probably heard of him, who did a joke with one of his puppets, Bubba J. And it's like, they're making a left turn. They're making another left turn. They're making another left turn. Yeah, that's pretty much all NASCAR is. They're making a left turn. They're making another left turn. You know, if somebody makes a right turn, they're going to go into a wall, but then again, that makes it a little more exciting. But you could have, like, sporting events done in VR, where it's like, look, you can buy a ticket. What does this ticket get you? This ticket gets you a seat. A virtualized seat. Now, how could they possibly do this, you ask? The same way they would do it for football events and things like that. Literally just have it be, boom, right there. Where it's, I mean, you could easily have somebody sit in every single seat in a stadium. And look around, look one way, and then look, like, go from the left to the right. That's it. Literally. That is all it would take. But Andrew, it would get rid and degrade 90% of the fun. No, I've been to a couple sporting events. I have been to ice hockey games. One that sucked the big, hairy meatball. I'm not joking. That hockey game, that was the cleanest hockey game I had ever been to in my life. And that was the first one I had ever been to in my life. And that was the cleanest hockey game ever. If it wouldn't have been for the fact that my one uncle, before he died and before he got laid off, actually, ended up getting tickets from the place that he worked at, and I actually got to go with him to that game, I would have honestly said ice hockey sucks. But the second game I went to, that was way better. Oh, yeah. I love the warning that they give you for that. It's like, oh, yeah, no. Here's a warning that pops up on the Jumbotron over the scoreboard thing over the ice. It's like the puck could possibly fly out of the arena and could possibly hit you. It'll be coming fast. Make sure that you're constantly keeping an eye out, and if you see it coming, duck. Yeah, I'm going to duck from a 200-mile-an-hour, piece of rubberized plastic that's going to come wailing me in the head. Nope. You can just put a small smiling man right there where I fell. But no, I survived. But it was a fun hockey game, though. See, that one revitalized. It's like, oh, cool. Now that's hockey. Do I watch it? No. No, I'm more of a football guy, and I mostly only just root for the Broncos. But see, that's also another thing. As this would work for sporting arenas, sporting events, conventions, exhibits, museum tours, and things like that. Just go virtual. I mean, there are a lot of museums that do virtual tours now where you can tour museums, even before the pandemic struck, where you could take a virtual tour of the museum. And how they had that set up was they just had somebody go through with a damn camera and record the damn tour. That's it. Or they have somebody that has a live stream camera that goes through and watches it in real time. But most of the time it's just pre-recorded, or it's a whole bunch of images and you just get to look at the neat stuff. Yeah, it's kind of neat. But the same concept could work. I mean, with 3D technology being pretty much the way it is now, you could easily, and I do kind of mean easily here, mind you, redirect a lot of that to making your own standalone sporting arenas and events. And of course, I can hear somebody now go, well, if you want to do sporting events, how are you going to, have it that if somebody wants to watch 2 games at once? Oh, well, that's simple. If they want to be in the stadium, they can't be in 2 places at once. They'd still have to abide by the laws of physics. Come on, I'm not an idiot. Mass cannot occupy the same space and time as another piece of mass. Why do you think if you ever time travel, you need to figure out if there's going to be anything around you when you are coming out of the time stream? Think, people, think. Anyway, this is still a very neat idea, anyway, because you could have conventions that are all VR. You could have sporting events that are VR. You could have museum tours that are VR, like car shows that are virtual reality. You can just walk around, check out all the cars. And now, granted, okay, that one's going to be a little more difficult, you'd say? No. Because I live in Pennsylvania, so one of the biggest things is the Philadelphia Auto Show. I kept seeing commercials for it all the time. And they had a virtual tour. I actually got to sit in the Knight Rider car in the free virtual tour. There was like a thing you could get inside the Knight Rider car. So you were looking inside the Knight Rider car like you were sitting in the Knight Rider car. I was sitting in kit, basically. While sitting in my living room. Well, technically sitting in my bedroom, but you get the idea. Yeah, I am all for this type of technology. I am all for this. This is the type of technology that I can get behind. Now, of course, you're always going to have that one person that's not going to like the idea or is going to find an issue with it, but I really don't see that big of a problem with this. For starters, you could easily attract a broader audience than what you would get normally. Keep in mind, physical means has its limitations. If you can't physically get there, you're not going to go. I mean, I can't physically make myself go to the shore because it takes a while to drive there. But if I could be there virtually, at least see the sunset and see the water, yeah, I would kind of find that nice. Though, granted, I have actually been to the shore, and it's much nicer in person. But for conventions and stuff like this, that would eliminate a lot of problems. The bumping into people, the ramming into other things. And I know, before some of you say it in the comment section, but Andrew, that's half the fun. Let me explain my further reasoning for this. You could easily have the same experience, only this time, instead of it being physical in like 3D, it's basically a sort of what's a good word I'm looking for here? Oh god, I'm gonna think of it. Oh yeah, it's a 3DU. It's literally like Second Life, but a little better. You get to customize your own character for like an anime convention or a comic convention. If you want to do cosplay, you can customize your character. You don't have to take the time and design the costume unless you want to. Then you can upload it yourself by taking a 3D picture of yourself, which would technically be possible. I mean, there are things to show you how to do that on YouTube, for God's sake. It is possible. Take a 3D photo of yourself, plop it onto the avatar that's there, and it'd be like a blank avatar for everybody that you could customize yourself, and then boom, you can walk around the convention, and that's that. I mean, if you want to have like if you have a really cool costume that you want to show off, but you know for a fact that you can't afford a plane ticket to California, or you can't afford a plane ticket or a bus fare, or you can't afford the entrance fee even, you could easily go through the entire ordeal of just doing it online. You'd still have to pay for entrance, but keep in mind, that would be a lot less expensive than getting a hotel room and getting a plane ticket just to go out there. I mean, hell, E3 could even do an online style ideal with itself. Now, granted, a lot of people go to E3, they want to play some of the demos that they might have set up and things like that, and you can still do that here. In the virtual conventions, you could easily do the similar idea by having it basically be, look, you go up to this thing, you hit the, I want to say A button or hit the enter button, and your avatar will instantly open up a sub-menu. So it'll basically open up like a sub-menu. Think of it like a video game. It's going to open up the alternate menu. And inside that menu is literally the demo of the game that'll allow you to play on a protected line, like a protected server. You get X amount of minutes, after which it'll kick you off, and that'll be that. You'll be right back out in the open. You can still hang out with your friends and everything else via live speech, TeamSpeak, chat, what have you, and you can have it set up so that it's literally just a connection of your friends, sort of like Discord in a way. You could easily set up a minute Discord server, and that's where your friends are talking while you're playing. Basically, think like Fallout 76 in a way, how they're doing their chatting functions and stuff like that. Yeah, stuff like that. So this is actually a really cool idea, and I'm amazed that with everything going on now the way it is, that this wasn't thought of as a backup plan. Now, granted, this year it wouldn't have worked for some of the bigger name ones like Comic-Con, South by Southwest, and Coachella, just to name a few. But that brings up the other interesting thing. Because remember, my whole entire thing with movie theaters, I think they're a waste of time and effort at this point anymore. And apparently a lot of movie studios agree, with video on demand netting them way more money than the theaters do. Movie theaters would still technically have a purpose. So what would the purpose be for those? Well, that could literally be a hub for a bunch of people that want to go. Like, let's say you live in a place where you really can't meet up with all of your buddies, or you have really bad internet, or let's say it's a small 3-bedroom apartment or something. One bedroom's occupied by your in-laws or your relatives or something, and there's no safe spot for you to go and have fun with your friends. You could use the movie theater because they could project, what you're seeing on the screen. They could use movie theaters for birthday parties. I mean, you have an arcade freaking inside the goddamn theaters. Snack concession stands. You easily have set up some tables, and boom, here, happy birthday, insert name here. And have a birthday party. Sporting events that you can't get tickets for, you could easily go there. Super Bowl, you could broadcast the game on the big screen. And you figure, since a lot of movie theaters are doing the whole Barca Lounger blowing smoke up your ass while it massages it at the same time, Look, I had a bad experience when I went to see Battle Angel Alita, okay? It really, really affected me, all right? I'm just going to throw that out there. You all know what happened. No Barca lounger should be blowing smoke up my ass and massaging it at the same time. Heated seats and a massage function. That was not welcome. Whew, not to mention the $30 price tag. But, yeah, you get my point. You could use movie theaters not for movies anymore, but for birthday parties, events. Corporations could rent them out to basically show their next big idea to a small group of investors. You could have it for off-site meetings. There's a tremendous amount of things that can be done with movie theaters that they don't have to be closed up because of this. And the virtual conventions, it just opens up the floodgates for more things that can be changed and more improvements that could be made. I mean, you could have sporting arenas where you could watch it at home or watch it in a theater. You have the conventions. So many ideas. I'm still a big fan, though, of the virtual convention. I mean, that could even open up the floodgates, and I really hate to say it this way, but it is true. It could open up the floodgates for a possible new surge in the social media market, with there basically being this tremendous amount of new influx of great ideas for social media. Like, hey, let's set up Twitter a little differently, where you actually get to interact with actual avatars of the people that are online. So that way you can be online and interact with somebody. That way, if there's a group of you all together, you know that they're going to be there talking to you. If they're right next to you, they're talking to you. And it's a similar functionality as the convention. Basically a Second Life style thing. Facebook, Instagram. I don't know how it would work for every single one of them. That's just to name a few. With YouTube, it might or might not work the same way. But then again, I have already done a video on YouTube's possible demise. Feel free to check that out. Yeah, this one's going up after that. So yeah, feel free to check that one out. It should pop up at the end of this video for most recent. If not, I'll try to put a card up right about now. But anyway, seriously, online conventions is a great idea. Online sporting arenas is a great idea. Online, oh hell, anything really, like online tours, online conventions, online sporting events. You can watch from home, sit in the same seat like you would, and watch it from home. I mean, football game, hockey game, baseball. Baseball would probably really work. You could actually get the blacked out games. For those of you that don't know what that is, if you've ever had cable, let me explain. It's basically where the channel's supposed to have the baseball game on. They're interrupting their regular programming for it, but it's a blacked out game, meaning that it's not available in your area. However, with the, oh look, you can now watch it online functionality, that's not a thing anymore. I mean, this just opens up so many possibilities. And, I mean, besides the fact that Funimation created it literally just to make money, because they're greedy and they need to pay bills like everybody else, they actually have opened the floodgates for a massive possibility in this massively untapped market. And honestly, if I had the ability to figure out how to do it myself, I'd be rich beyond my wildest dreams. This is a money-making idea that is literally waiting to be picked up by the right individual or the right group of individuals that know what to do and know how to handle this. And figure it this way, if anybody wants to throw me involved in it, I'm more than happy to discuss terms. Speaking of discussions, that's about all the time I have for this Andrew Discusses. But let me know in the comment section what your thoughts are in regards to online conventions and online, having a more bigger presence online, basically, like having online football games, online sporting events, online museum tours, online, national state park tours, online conventions and things like that. Let me know in the comments section below. And until next time, I'm Andrew Rhodes, and this has been Andrew Discusses. Thanks, everybody, and have a nice day.